we go. Okay, so welcome. The 11th day of October of this 2021. I was going to say 19 something, but no, we're in 2021. 20 years into 2000. I mean, really, that's pretty phenomenal, isn't it? And we're still standing. So I'm going to just set space, and then we'll do a check-in as we put ourselves into the circle. We'll just do all at the same time, and then get started. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. I know that whatever we do in behalf of what in this circle is done in behalf of way beyond that, including those who couldn't make it, who are usually here for various reasons. They're not physically present. We're holding them. So let's just take a deep breath and get ourselves focused in the present here and now moment where we are on the planet. And know that our presence is enough to be light. We are that. And it was as we acknowledge our light and see each other's light, we open up our vision and we see the light of those who are with us vicariously in the sacred ground collective vision circle. And beyond that, how many lights there are all over this planet, whether seen or by physical eyes or not. Just let's connect all of those lights, known and unknown, thousands upon thousands, standing for good and caring and love. We're here on the sacred ground of sovereignty, surrounded, each of us and each of those lights, in the triple cocoon and hazmat suit. We are here connected to information way beyond our own conscious self. We are committed to listen, to share appropriately, and to let our light never diminish. We'll sense the roots that we have down into Mother Earth, into Gaia, standing in the triple cocoon foundation of Divine Feminine, of Gaia, Sophia, and Grace. So we're gathered here to vision our part of expanding that light, love, and clarity. So our circle is declared, it is set and opened, and so it is. Okay, so I'll start. Sharon Raji here of Woodby Island. It's been a huge rocking and rolling weekend for me and my family. Things brought to the surface that have really expanded my awareness of some of the damage that our women are dealing with. And so I spent Friday, Saturday, Sunday in almost total common communication. What is this and what is this and what to do, and writing, and knowing that I didn't want to have to do this kind of in-depth for clients. I wanted to get it done vicariously so they didn't have to go through this really deep healing, but the healing could get done. So I'm grateful I'm really grateful it came to the surface. I am grateful for being held so that I knew I was not alone. And I am so grateful. There was a song on my way back because I was down on the south end of the island, and the song was a 50s song that's something like, you are my soul and my life's, I don't know, you may remember it. You are my soul and my life something, And it was talking about another person. And I thought I mean, oh my gosh, who would want to be that kind of, in a physical bodysuit? But then I realized that for me, that soul and reason for living is upstairs. It's my guides. And I could feel their presence. And so, the presence here on the planet of us in this group and beyond it, and those beyond, is like, how could we walk this life? How are others trying to walk this life, trying to figure it out without some kind of deep inner bone knowing? So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So I bring great reverence for spiritual awareness. I'm putting 4 individuals into the circle, and I pass to Cinda.
Oh, well, Sharon, from all of us, thank you for doing the work. Oh, my internet's unstable. Am I choppy to you guys, or am I okay? So thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Um, from all of us. Oh, and your family's so fortunate to have you. Dang. So I'm from Portland. I spent the whole morning walking and training my dog. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I decided I was gonna train her not to pull me anymore, which means you walk 2 feet. When she starts to pull, you turn around and walk in the other direction, and then you turn around and you walk back. And so it was literally 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or I should say 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So we did make a little headway, but oh, it took freaking forever, and I'm sore. But man, someone's got to do it. And then the reason why I had time to do that is because I had a final 7 days of grace, the final day with one of my clients, her 7th day, this morning, and then she canceled last night, which opened up my day. But I was fearful that she was bowing out, that she was backing out, that it maybe wasn't working for her, that I had all sorts of stories going on in my head why she canceled the very last day. And the excuses she came up with sounded like excuses. And I was just really a little bit sad that that was it. Well, I go for my walk, I get back, she sends me a message. It's during her lunch break. She was called into work today. And so it was during her lunch break, and she responded, and she just says, and she really was working hard to reschedule, really working hard to reschedule. And I went, oh, well, if you wanted out, if you wanted to quit early, you wouldn't schedule hard to make it happen. And then as I was responding to the dates she gave me as to what would work and what wouldn't, she sent me an update on how things are shifting in her life and how much lighter she feels, and the impact this lightening of herself. Literally, the emotional weight is leaving her, as well as this lightness that she's exuding into the world that she's never done before. And people that have known her always are stopping her and saying, what's going on? What's going on? And it's extraordinary. And so for a little moment, I got in my own way and in my own head about the effectiveness of what I'm doing. And of course, like you, Sharon, it's all of this came about through guidance, and I was just following that guidance, and I just had to trust that the right people would find me, and they have been. And And then for a moment, I let that go, and it was totally unfounded. So so we're back on, we're back scheduled, and she's so grateful. So yay, that was fun. So Sue.
So I'm Sue from Issaquah, who's right now in Anacortes. And oh my God, the waterfront is so beautiful. I had to go to Safeway and I saw the waterfront and I was like, oh, I'm so close, but so far. I love being at the water. So I'm with a friend and I don't know how long I'll be here, but I'll be here. So this last week, I recognized the difference between trying to fix something and and having a solution. And trying to fix something comes from my human reasoning. And it comes from probably wanting to be right. Anyway, none of it's worked. None of it's worked. And so what I've been practicing is setting an intention to live from a place of compassion, compassionate listening, compassionate action. And I'm being drawn to people who write about that. And then I went for a walk. The neighbor came by and said, let's go for a walk. Oh my God, she puts me through the paces. 500 steps on stairs. And 3 miles later, I crawled home. But we talked the whole entire time, so I didn't realize we were not walking very fast. It was a fascinating talk. She has been a preschool teacher and she has all these skills. And what I was talking about with compassionate listening and compassionate action, she applies in her preschool. And what I got out of it was not only the kind and gentle words and voice, but the importance of giving people options. And because I can't get past this fix it mindset, I keep missing choices, opportunities, options. So I've been thinking about that, and it just gets more clear and more clear and more clear. And I was trying to say it to somebody, and I got partway through, and I didn't have the next word, which means the fix it came back in. And then I just sat quietly, making that connection. Only I see it more to it with a heart connection now than that up connection. And the words came to me and I could finish describing what I wanted. And then I was reading something. She told me about a book and an author. I pulled it up on YouTube and I read part of it. And then here at the house here, my friend handed me a book and said, have you read this one? I said, I recognize the name. I have not read the book. And it's exactly what I'm talking about. Recognizing and presenting people with options. So because I keep wanting to fix things, the universe has prevented me from spending a lot of time with my grandchildren. And what I saw this time was the last time we were at the last people at the table was my daughter-in-law. She was eating and not paying any attention. My granddaughter, 8 years old, next to me, and she's trying to be sneaky and grab the Parmesan cheese. It's in an itty bitty bag and there's hardly enough in there to even taste it. And she's willing to risk it all for that little bit of cheese. So she's watching her mom and she knows I'm watching her and she's watching me and she's looking at the cheese and she's looking at her mom and she's looking at me and she's looking at the cheese. And her mom looks up because sneaky energy is easy to recognize. And sure enough, Chloe opened it, popped it in her hand, and popped it in her mouth. And her mom said, go to your room. So next time, what I saw was just start asking questions. Do you know what your options are right here in this moment? And do you know what each of your options, do you know what each of your options are? Can you tell me what your options are? Because she only can see one. I want it. Oh, if she was hungry, it wouldn't satisfy anything. So anyway, I just saw the whole thing play out differently, and words were coming in. And I heard a woman talk the other day, and she said, what keeps tripping me up is language, how to put what I'm feeling in a word so it's easy for someone else to understand what I'm trying to say. And then putting into words that how I want to express myself in a kind and gentle way, so they hear me, but they don't have to take action, and they don't have to defend themselves, and it doesn't have to start a conflict. And I just keep seeing it. I just keep seeing it. And the books are just being handed to me, and it's been so fun. So I feel like I am preparing for a whole different life. And because the attitude between fix it and allowing a solution is the difference of night and day. But if you can't see it, you don't even know it's a choice. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. It's not an option. So I am really excited that I'm now able to access a means of better communication. And I have a solution. And I taught my 8-year-old granddaughter how to play solitaire, and we play it according to, you just keep playing till you win. And so I was eating my lunch, and she was finished, and she was playing, and I said, be very careful, be very careful. So that's code for, there's a card on the table that you can play off of. And she just smiles and giggles, and then she looks for it. And I'm thinking, if we're at the table and she is about to make another bad choice, I can jokingly say, be very careful. Be very careful, because she'll look at me. She won't know, there's no cards. She won't know what I mean, and she'll ask. And then I get to say, let's look at the options. So I don't know what that means. What I'm bringing in, new awareness, solutions, open or aware, being aware of solutions. Oh, geez. Why does it take a whole lifetime to learn that? Who cares? Let's just move on. Thank you.
Oh yes, a whole lifetime for sure. Through this whole thing over the weekend, it was like, oh my gosh, I wish I could go back to when I was 13. Everything would change. If I only knew that here's Cinda's book. If I only knew then what I know now at 13, I would like to have done that. Yeah, but here we are. So the intention for this particular circle in this Sacred Ground Collective is to vision in whatever way we're called to vision the world in its wholeness as it is, as it ought, as we intended, reflecting our soul. That's what it would be. And if that means seeing the future and holding the future and bringing it back, if it means going back and disconnecting wherever we were, and that's it, or if it's doing in the present moment something, whatever it is. But I want to share this with you because today is a soft launch for the Sacred Ground participatory membership. So here's the Sacred Ground, and I called together a board of directors. Cinda was one of them about maybe 3 years ago now. They helped me get clear about what was my work. It was all about my work. And I said, I'm going to call it the Sacred Ground Collective. And so this is the website. It's been there kind of sitting for a long time. We've used it for Women Remaking the World, and it's a holder of other things. So what makes us unique, the agreements that we have, and then these are the projects. So we have, and I haven't updated them this last week because I've been too busy. We have the online vision circle on Mondays. We have Crystal Broadcasting, gets emails every month. Emma's got this marketplace. If any of your services, anything that you want to put out that you're doing, I just clicked on that, has a home now, and that she will be promoting that extensively. So that's a good place to be. The Sacred Ground Library, it's got my stuff in it, and if there's anything any of you want, like an aha writing, Sue, here would be one place to write it up, and we could house it in this library. Here's our healing circle. You see, Sue, I haven't updated it. I still got it at like 8-0. I'll get that done today. And I was told to put the glyphs into an evolutionary glyph in alignment to the evolutionary blueprint. And I have, and they work with what I call with the fractal process. And that's been there, and we're starting to share it a lot more. But with my classes and the other groups that we're in, women have been asking to be able to be together more consistently or regularly. So here is the soft lunch for the collective community for participatory members, people who want to have more than just getting together once in a while. This will be a paid site. So they'll get a monthly bundle of something focused. It might be this month we're going to focus on X, whatever that is, and I'll send out a bundle. A couple of online every month. Now this is in addition to the freebies. So we'll have a coffee chat, we'll have a focus circle. They'll get discounts on things. They'll get discounts on my work. And some of the things we'll be doing throughout the year is we'll be working more with the career, a model for the career that we're using, planetary transits, the game of life, relationships. So those are some of the focuses that we'll be doing. So I just wanted to put that out and get it into the video as an invitation. And the link will be, in description for this video. So glad to have you here. Okay, Sue's got some more. Go for it, Sue.
Okay, so there is right now you have a sliding scale membership we pay for. Is that different than what you're going to have, or is this part of the same thing?
I mean, for the tag sessions, you mean?
No.
What's the sliding scale in relationship to
The monthly.
the monthly membership? I haven't had that before. This is new. That's why I wasn't confused.
Well, because there is something right now. You have a monthly membership.
Yeah, the Galactic to Gaia Odyssey is a monthly membership, and for one more month.
You know what? I'm in it and I don't even know what it is.
The tag courses are also broken down by month. So yeah, but this is something totally new. It's like $29 a month is what it is, and it will be open only twice a year. So it'll be open from November probably till mid-January, and then it will be closed, and then we'll just function as a group until I'll open it up again in April. So yeah, I don't know what that is either, Sue, because I'm doing the galactic work.
Is it Slack?
Oh, Slack. Yeah, Slack is our communication, and it costs nothing.
Nope, that's not it then.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I don't know any.
Is it a voluntary thing?
The Slack group?
No, this membership I'm in.
Yeah, it's only if you want to, if you want to be part of, like, we meet every other, twice a month, you get this bundle. This is totally, you get discount.
She's talking about that that website that she voluntarily made a donation to.
Oh, Patreon. Patreon.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
The Patreon.
if you're in a Patreon, you're automatically in this group. The Patreon people will be in this group. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I put them together. Yeah. Yeah. I
Got
sent out an email about a week ago, but maybe you didn't get it. I was just saying, Patreon people, you're now in this group.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, you go the same way. You go, I mean, just keep doing the Patreon thing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But this will give you but now you're in a place where you get even better benefits than before.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, I got things going. I forget I got things going. Okay, whatever. Okay, anything you want to talk about or say before we do our journey?
I am so in love with Sue's stories.
Yeah, aren't they great?
I am so in love with you, Sue. Your journey and your vulnerability and sharing it and your openness and your honesty and the way in which you share your story, it is so heartwarming, enlightening, educational. You are speaking for yourself, but you might as well be speaking for everyone. It is a highlight to how we open up as to what you might be bringing in. I just want you to know that it's just, I don't mean to be insulting if I call it adorable, because I know you're not trying to be adorable, but it is adorable to me.
Yeah.
So, and Sharon, I am so in awe over the work you do and how, you know, I guess I just always assumed that a point would come in our life where maybe we could rest on our laurels, we could kick back, we can
Yeah.
just say, okay, now I can. You don't. You keep growing and expanding and learning. And then how fortunate are we to have you share with us what you're learning as you're going. And I know you might not be at a moment where you can share what you've learned, but when you are, I'm eager to hear. So, wow.
Yeah. I would, yeah, I kind of thought we'd be able to do some quieter stuff. I'm beginning to hear that. I think Kelly has said this before. We got some rocking and rolling ahead of us. And I went, no, Kelly, no, we're almost at the end. I think there is some rocking and rolling coming. And that's one of the things they said to me over the weekend. I said, it's like build community. There's some rocking and rolling, build community. And because I had thought maybe we could just relax, and that's what they're saying, build community, rocking and rolling. We don't have to get caught up in it, but but it will be easier to not get caught up in it if we have a community. So we're still on.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons why I started the 7 days of grace is because astrologically, the next 7 years are not going to be any easier. And so we need a group of people that are aware of that and willing to rise above it and see where to send the energy into calming everything and everyone down when they're shown where to go and where to send that energy. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got over the weekend too. I said, no, bring faster.
I get the feeling, because I keep asking, we've had healers who've been able to heal people. It seemed like kind of easy. It seemed like kind of easy. And I'm asking, is there something different about healing? And it's not been stated very clearly, but I get the feeling that to just heal people takes away their responsibility. And it's like, if we do too much healing of somebody, if we are allowed to completely heal somebody, let's just say cancer, and they never get cancer again, then what did they learn from that? And I keep bumping up against this, that every time I learn something about my process, my journey, I then am able to take more responsibility for myself and pass the information on. But if I don't learn, if somebody just heals me, I don't complete the journey, because why would I? Why would I go through all this fucking work if somebody can just wave a magic wand and heal me? So it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened. I'm no longer looking for it to happen. And it just feels like that makes it easier for me to take responsibility for my journey, my process. I can heal myself and pass it on without robbing them of their responsibility. And I don't know about you guys, but that's the feeling I get, is that how we heal is going to be different than how it's been done in the past.
This is how it has shown up for me, Sue, because early on with tag, as you well know, when we activate the tag matrix, there are some things, or deep six or tag and transform, there are some patterns that went away. But when I got into it more deeply, when I was looking at how to apply it in applying it into pregnancy, into babies, I said, what is that? And they said that every individual, every soul determines how much negativity, how many patterns they bring in with them each lifetime.
Yeah.
We have the power in a physical body to do something we can't other than that. And we have teams to help us. So so they might bring in, like, the normal for me when I started was 900 density points, because I wanted to get a sense where people were. 900 density points, so that their negative patterns would be 900 pounds, right? But then I'm working about babies, and they said, okay, so this baby soul is bringing in 900 pounds. And I said, yes. They said, yes. And I said, and some of it's intended to be healed like deep six. And they said, yes, it's marked to be healed like that. And I said, okay, how much? And so I started asking with every client, and it's been consistent, except for over the weekend. Consistent was like, let's say they bring in 900 pounds. What's the percentage is marked for easy removal? Deep six, tag and transform, 90% was, we can truly, just with our words, with our, understanding that we can speak, we can heal, transform, or call for that. The 90%, because they're marked. The 10% is what they have to work with.
Okay, that's great.
And see, that's what you're talking about. The problem is we haven't known, and that 90% has so tied us into knots that now we're really struggling. You know what I mean? And so, but understanding that 90% can be spoken, it might take a few times, might be all at once. Cool, go for it, because they're never going to be robbed. This is what I get, and I did from the beginning. They would never be robbed in tag work. What they need for their growth will not be taken away. That will be their responsibility. So I guess I'm affirming that for you.
Yeah. And because I put healing and then I put tag work. Tag work opens the doors to the healing. And I forget to say that a lot of the time, 95% of the time, I forget to even mention it. But yes, I understand. We do the tag work, and then this is the healing to me.
Yeah. However it fits. But that's the concept.
Yeah.
And you got it. That's exactly right. So anyway.
Well, and then also on that same note is one of the rituals that I've been doing with people is called to be the cause of a miracle. And what instigated it was a friend of mine who was ailing, and she said, I don't know what to pray for. I don't know if I pray for a full-on healing, or if I'm afraid to ask for a miracle, she said. And so I told her, I said, all right, if you're afraid to ask, then I'll ask that miracle for you. I'll pray for that miracle, for a full healing for you, because it became clear that the fear of asking for a miracle comes from so many different layers. But the first layer is that if we ask for a miracle, which means a full-on healing, and it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
what does that mean to me? Does that mean that God feels I'm not worthy of that miracle? Does it mean, and then what will that mean if I feel I'm unworthy of it? Or what does that do to my faith? If I have faith in a higher power and I ask that higher power for a full-on miracle and it doesn't come, what will that do to my faith? And so people are really afraid to ask for that miracle, Sue. They're really afraid to ask for that full-on healing themselves. And so what I do in the ritual of Be the Cause for a Miracle is we telepathically ask the person's higher power, higher self, can I be that miracle for you? Can I help you with that miracle? And they will either say yes or no, and we have to respect their answer. And then we can enter in and work on that miracle for them. Or what I do is I just flat out pray for a full miracle. For any person that reaches out to me and says, please help, it's a full-on miracle I seek. It's a full-on miracle for that person. And I realize that sometimes it has to be an outsider, not an outsider like Sharon's outsiders. It has to be someone not so emotionally impacted by what is happening to ask for the miracle, because it's so frightening for the person who's ailing to ask for it themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't wait for the permission to do that. Usually there's a request, but even then I just do that, knowing by Sharon's teaching that I could easily clear that 90%, and whatever they need to learn will still be there. And I also believe in what is for the highest good of all will usually be the outcome. And because I can't override someone's dharma, I can't override anything that they have set into motion that they're not willing to bend. But I just believe really strongly in the power of miracles, and therefore I'll never stop in the requesting of them.
Yeah. No. And the truth of it is, again, I'm talking a galactic landscape. Permission to be whole is intrinsic in our divine star family's agenda to extend from home. We already have made the commitment that we are going to experience an aspect of that's never been erased. The other thing is, again, in the landscape, coming as being a volunteer on Earth mission to do what we said we would do on Earth mission. Intrinsic in that is our commitment to be restored to our family of light's agenda. We have already made that commitment at a soul level, and some people, have that belief they have to get it consciously and they have to function from that. But in actuality, in the bigger picture, that permission and request has been there for us from the beginning. Okay, ready? Thanks, Sue, though. I appreciate that. And I love the conversation. I hope that was helpful and good for all of us. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put okay. So we're here in our circle, sacred ground of sovereignty. We are connected heart to heart, roots to roots, sky to sky. And the excitement and the appreciation of being part of holding, creating, calling forth the new world of our star family's agendas. We are here asking our teams to take us, show us, give us the information, whatever it is our thing to do in this moment today. We are here. We are with you. So hold us. And we'll see you back when you are complete. Looks like we're all back. So, Sue, do you want to start, please?
Well, I did not get quiet or calm. I just feel like I'm on fire and my brain is just exploding. That's what getting confirmation does for me. So I'm a week ago Friday, I was at a friend's house and she was in, well, she's in distress all the time. And I said, well, let's go in your office and talk about it. So we did. And I said, she doesn't know what tapping is. So she talked and I had her tap. And she just talked and she brought up 3 huge issues. And then she just was crying. And it was such an amazing session that I just went over to pick something up that she picked up for me. And this whole huge healing session just unfolded. And so on the way home, I said, okay, if I'm ready, bring the clients to me. And nothing happened. So today, in meditation now, trying to calm my mind down. There's this whole huge piece about clearing what has been interfered with, trapped, broken, whatever, from the outsiders. And then there's this piece over here that once this has not had, once the vice grip has been released, then the healing over here can happen. And I didn't heal anything. I brought her to the point of her opening the problem up so she could see it, so she could go through it. And going through it, a lot of times, is the healing. The willingness to go through the pain and coming out the other side. And she hasn't called back to do any more work on it. And sometimes people do, and sometimes they quit. They just quit. They won't go through the pain. But I have a clearer picture. So I don't do it exactly how Sharon does it. But what's coming to me is that I work with the Akash and the DNA and just keep clearing. And for myself, every time I go and check on the DNA, it looks like somebody went in and poured kind of crap all over it. And it's like it has to be cleared all the time. So I'm putting that into my protocol for myself. I never think of those things for myself. And what I create as a new protocol for myself is what I'm going to be using. And I'm hoping I get it right pretty soon because I want the income. I want some income. And I want my own place. And I have all my things back. I have most of my things back from Minnesota. So I feel like me and my things are now a unit. And that feels really good. So I'm still working on what it is and how it is I am supposed to do the next level of work, because everything has been volunteer, lots and lots of volunteer. But what I want to do is a little different. So I'm in process and I'm learning. I'm going to have a process that I will be able to charge for. So I'm excited about that. And I will be, and I keep not mentioning that I do work of clearing away the outsiders, but when I go to talk, it never comes to mind. So let's like bring that piece in, anchor it in, and make it part of what I share. Hope.
Let's tag Cinda.
I kind of like that we kind of went back to traditional ways of doing these meditations. I was hoping that my old-fashioned team of 4 old men would show up, but they didn't. And so I just sort of said, where do we need to go? Past, future, present. And they just took me downtown Portland. And I was like, okay. So I just sort of sat there like with a kind of a superhero movie, you know, where you just you got not the ray gun, but like the fire thing, the fire hose. I don't know, you know, it's just like there, and I was just deep six, deep six, deep six, deep six, you know, just some sort of futuristic weapon. But yet I was present moment, and I was just deep sixing just everything about this poor city, just hoping to bring it back, hoping to bring it back, hoping to bring it back. And it just kind of like walking down the sidewalk, deep six, deep six, deep six, deep six. That's all. I spent all the meditation doing that. I even did a huge deep six on all the homeless camps. And I did it, you know, and surprisingly, I have yet to have done anything within the city for all the trouble it's had. I can't believe that I haven't yet visited the city to try to heal it. And so that was kind of like an aha moment for me. But I wondered if by even bringing the deep sixes into the homeless camps, because in the past I was bringing compassion and love and support and empowerment. And I thought, what if the outsider energy is influencing these people to the point where they feel worthless? And then that made sense to me that actually to do the deep six, to do the clearing of the outsider energy might actually lighten their load instead of be more empowering instead of the energy of compassion or support or whatever. So I was doing that on all the camps that I've seen, which are so many. So that was helpful. Sharon.
Thank you. Yeah, when you stop to remember that what the outsiders went after in the galactic world was our light, our compassion, our joy. I mean, that's what makes us juicy. That's why, you know, when I was told all of that has no impact on the cause, which is the outsiders. So it's not that you don't do that, but you have to also incorporate that deep six of the get the outsider energy, because we don't want them feeding. They'll feed on fear, but we forget they also feed on love. They trap us in fear, but they feed on light. So that was great. I loved it. So so what I did is I just asked, you know, what is mine to do today for the greater good? And they said, it was interesting. They said, your job is not to shake the tree. Sorry, all these apples on the tree. Your job is not to shake the tree. The universe the field is doing that. It's already shaking the tree. And I went, okay, the apples are falling. Is it my job to catch the apples? They said, no, it's not your job to catch the apples. Your job is to let the apples fall, which is kind of like what we were saying, has some consequences. That your job is to be available to those who hit the ground and say, wow, that hurt. What don't I know? I mean, it's like, I thought I'd be on that tree forever. Of course, nobody would ever let go of me. You know what I mean? So it was interesting. I thought I was all about the conversation we just had. So my job was to be able to let the apples fall and tell stories. They said, tell stories differently. So tell stories differently for the apples who've dropped from the tree. Think like they would think. Like, what would they think? Like, is their faith shaken? Is their body hurting? Whatever. And so that was the metaphor, the metaphor I was given is to be available. They said, keep doing your deep work. That's not what you're doing in the world for humanity is like, tell stories differently for these apples that are falling, but keep doing the deep work because that's where the change happens. So that's what I got. So, oh, thank you for being together. It's good to have this kind of time where we do this kind of travel. So the other circles and circles that are going to be added will just enrich everybody. And we each have our unique contribution in that. So, okay. Anything else that needs to be said, do you think, before we tune off?
At 9, healing circle. Thursday at 9, not Wednesday at 8. Thursday at 9.
I got that change made, but before we started, I got that change made, but I forgot. Does it go for an hour or an hour and a half?
Well, let's say an hour and a half, and we'll end when it ends.
Okay, perfect. I'll put an hour and a half, and you can, in the culture of the circle, say that. Okay. Thanks for reminding me. I was going to ask you when it ended, and I would have forgotten had you not reminded me. So thank you for that. Okay, ladies. Much love until we see you again. And let's take the energy from the circle and just spread it out in any way it is needed to just fill and flood the earth and the consciousness fields of our star families on the planet. And so it be. Love.
Thank you. Love you both.
We'll see you again when we see you. Bye.